So today's story time had a lot of requests, and some of them I didn't quite manage to get into the story proper, so I've put them as poem themes. I did do most of them. It was a bit of a challenge. So we had on my list How to Move Mountains, Vertigo, First Experience of Abseiling, Wind with Wind Instruments, Stolen Tupperware, Where Did That Wood Come From, Treasure Hunts or Easter Hunts and Chocolate, Perfect Stillness, There and Back Again, and Enforced Rest. So I managed to get most of those things into the story, apart from the wood. Where did the wood come from? So I decided to put that into the poem. The poem is a bit of a silly one. It's called Waking Up at Camp. There is perfect stillness at the camp at dawn, and no one is around. Which makes me wonder how that wood got here, without a single sound. Neatly stacked against the hut, ready for the campfires. I'm sure it wasn't there last night when we arrived. The stillness of the morning, full of crisp silver dew, makes me think that fairies might live here, and centaurs too. And perhaps that would explain how all these things get done, when most of us just pop in for one night and are gone. But if you think about it, I'd probably have to say that a centaur in the land of kangaroos would be quite strange. And so I guess that probably I just slept soundly through, and actually the magic wood supplier might be you. So in the story you'll see that there are many people whose point of view that could be from, because they all do go to camps of various kinds during the story. So there's no mention in it of surprise wood stacks, but that's just kind of a little addition. So our story bit today is called How to Move Mountains. It was the morning before the quarterly workplace afternoon tea party, and a very impressive range of cakes and finger food adorned the meeting room table. In the small kitchen, on the sink, was a terrible mountain of Tupperware, and a war was breaking out. "This one is not yours, Anya," Ali from Communications insisted. "It's been here for months. If I knew whose it was, I would have made them clean out last quarter's mouldy Swiss roll." In the background, Matt from Content Writing faded out of the doorway back towards his desk. "It is mine because no one else has that type of lid," Anya insisted. "No, that's not the lid for this," Ali spat. Anya grabbed at the box. "It is! Try it on!" She wrestled the container away from Ali and attempted to jam on the green lid that was sitting amongst the teetering sink pile. Various other containers exploded across the room. The green lid kept appearing to line up with the edges of the box, then slipping out of position when Anya tried to press it down. "See?" said Ali, folding her arms. "Well, where is my container then? Why do I only have a lid? What is the point of this?" Anya waved the green lid expressively. "Don't you know it's called Tupperware? The heck is the frickin' lid?" smirked Ali. "Someone else in this office is trying to pack their quiches and asking that question right now as they try to use their stolen Tupperware spoils." Anya threw the lid down on the counter in disgust. "If they were going to steal it, they at least should have had the wisdom to take the lid too." "They probably couldn't find it," replied Ali, winking. "Ugh," Anya huffed. "You're so smug about things like this." At that moment, Matt sidled back in round the door. Ladies, Owen says everyone in our team needs to come into the meeting room." Anya gave him a lethal glare only Tupperware could have invoked. Why is Owen in charge? Helen has normally accepted 3 new briefs and checked in with all of us by now. Where is she this morning? Matt spread his hands. I assume we're about to be told. The 3 of them exchanged a look, and the Tupperware was left on the sink. What? Chorused Ellie and Anya, staring at Owen, who had sort of backed up against the projector screen. When will she be allowed to come back? Asked Ellie. What the hell, Ellie? She had a heart attack. We should be trying to stop her coming back too soon. Sorry, I'm just surprised. Ellie sat down at the meeting table. Matt sat down next to her. So, are you in charge then? He asked Owen. Not really, I just answered the phone. We're supposed to make any important decisions as a team. Oh no, that's not going to work, groaned Ellie, looking at Anya. Matt rolled his eyes and said, Really? Come on, folks, we can do marketing. This is our chance. Every time something is challenging, Helen comes and takes charge of it. No wonder she's stressed. I, for one, would like the chance to show I can have a hand in solving the tricky problems. He looked around. How hard can it be? Let's carry on with our current jobs for now. And if any new assignments or complaints come in, we'll meet and vote on what to do. They drifted off to their desks, sure they would wake up at any moment and discover they were late. At 9:30, there was a chorused chirp from their computers. An email from Helen. Oh my God, said Anya. How is she online? There was silence as they all read the message, the pause slowly filling up with dread. If I have to go on a camping yoga forest retreat, you all might as well come too. We can use it as a team-building exercise. I am not allowed to do exercise, but the rest of you can climb the mountain, and then provide moral support by accompanying me for the yoga and meditation. I am sure it will be very good for everyone. Please contact the rangers to plan your hike and arrange to close for 3 extra days before Easter. No, exclaimed Anya. Every time we do team building, I get hit by things or dropped. And now she wants me to do all that whilst being high up on a terrifying mountainside. Don't worry, Matt stage whispered. She's probably planning to move the mountain for us. Guys, Owen looked alarmed. Please be nice. What mountain is this campsite on then? Asked Ellie, looking rather smug. Sugarloaf, isn't it? Matt suggested, scrolling back through the email. Ellie typed it into search, her long, neatly manicured fingers giving little flourishes that showed off her rings. Oh yes, here's the National Parks website. I can register us with the rangers. Matt, can you sort out the closure? I'll book the yoga, said Owen. And that seemed to be that. Anya sighed and turned back to the logo design she was working on, thinking perhaps if she immersed herself enough, the mountain expedition would go away. On the Tuesday before Easter, however, the colleagues switched on their auto email responses, gathered their backpacks and walking shoes, and squished into Matt's car for the journey to their starting point at Blair Hut Campground. Matt was already in team-building fun mode. Let's play 2 truths and a lie in the car, he suggested, seeming to bounce around behind the steering wheel. There was a collective groan, but then Ellie said, Fine, I'll start. I had a pet tarantula as a kid. I used to do calisthenics, and I originally started studying nursing, but I wasn't too good with blood. Huh, snorted Anya. Easy, you never studied nursing. You were already scared of blood and needles way before uni. No, Ellie folded her arms. I actually did try nursing. Only lasted half a semester, mind you. Matt twisted round in his seat, the seat stretching oddly. Come on, Anya, it's the tarantula. Ali does not like spiders. Ali smiled wryly. Correct. Watch the road map, for heaven's sake. Okay. Matt sat more appropriately in the driver's seat. My turn then. I write poetry and go to poetry readings in my spare time. I really like to wear Crocs. And I have never baked a cake before. Cake, shouted Owen, unnecessarily loud. You're a great baker. You got me. Matt drummed on the steering wheel a bit and grinned. Anya's turn. Anya leaned on the window and her head bumped about painfully. Do I have to? She grumbled. Well, okay. I like to play chess. I have often accidentally stolen Tupperware. Wait! Exploded Ali. Matt, did you leave mouldy Swiss roll in the work fridge for 3 months? That Tupperware box is yours, isn't it? If it's mine, then where's the lid from the mouldy cake? Matt retorted. Where's my container? Anya yelled. Matt had to pull into the service station and buy everyone chocolate to calm them down. At the campsite, Anya and Matt did battle with both tents, while Ali and Owen tried to work out how to turn on the barbecue. There was a lot of sound as the sun went down, a chorus of bird life and insects, and distant sounds of other campers setting up and eating and playing games. Then, suddenly, it was dark, and there was an almost perfect stillness, broken occasionally by the strobe lights of people's torches. Having accidentally stayed by the barbecue as the sun set, the 4 colleagues found themselves in a bit of a pickle. They couldn't remember which way their tents were. Were we on the toilet side or the entry side? Anya asked, waving her torch like a sort of detector and turning in a slow circle. Whoa, I think I better stand still now. Can't tell which way's up. She sat down on the ground. The tents of other campers looked horribly similar to theirs, and it took much tiptoeing and flicking of the torch beam over the canvas to find their 2 tents, gratefully on the toilet side. Don't forget to put your torches and your toilet paper by your pillows, Matt reminded them brightly. Owen was starting to look a little less enthusiastic than he had in the morning. They crawled into the tents to attempt to sleep. Ugh, Ali, shoes stay outside, came Anya's voice, followed by a muffled retort. Then there was a brief period of stillness. Presently, Matt's voice said, We could do a couple more rounds of 2 truths and a lie until we feel sleepy. And Owen, sounding relieved, said, Yeah, I never got my turn. I don't like chocolate. I grew up on a farm, and you guys do realise your walls are made of canvas and we can hear you? Ali butted in, complaining. Oh, yeah. Owen rustled around a bit. Sorry. Silence fell, and slowly it became more and more still, as, Anya assumed, people fell asleep. Soon it was just her, in the complete still blackness, looking up at the tent's roof, which she knew was there, but couldn't see. Whatever tomorrow held, she was sure it wouldn't be her cup of tea. They were all awoken by Ali screaming like a smoke alarm might at burnt toast. A chorused unzipping of tent flies followed, and one by one the others stuck their heads out, to see Ali hopping around outside with only one shoe on. There's a spider in my shoe, she bellowed, and hurled the offending sneaker across the campsite. By now there were complaining mumbles from some of the surrounding tents, so Anya wriggled out, ran across the dry dirt in her socks, and picked up the shoe. Cautiously, she peered into its depths. Ugh, your feet stink, she told Ali rudely. Very little sleep was never a good recipe for politeness. Ah! Redback! She held the shoe as far away as possible and picked up a stick to use as a spider extrication tool. Once the offending arachnid had been removed, and Ali placated, a map was produced. We should probably aim to get to this picnic area before our first break, Owen suggested, indicating a spot on the map. There are waterfalls there, and it's from there we could go on to climb the mountain. Ali nodded, looking all zen again. Yes, from what I understand, the walk to the waterfalls will be long, but the mountain itself isn't too bad. Anya kept quiet, hoping the mountain wasn't too high. As they started onto the first track, Owen shouted, "Easter egg!" and dived into the bushes. That could be someone else's, Matt worried. Then he squinted. Hold on, I think I can see another one up there at the corner. They're all along our route, aren't they? He looked around at the others. Oh, freaking heck. This is one of Helen's careful plans, isn't it? She's worked out which way we'll go and had these planted. Owen shrugged. Oh well, free Easter eggs.
Okay.
Matt looked at him. Not liking chocolate was your lie last night then? Owen laughed. Yeah. They trudged on. And on. And on. They were still going 5 hours later. I'm hungry, Matt whinged, finally having given up on trying to play team-building games as they walked. Are we even close to this picnic area? Anya tried to look at her phone maps. No reception, she reported. Oh yeah. The others checked and found the same. Owen spread out the big hard copy National Park map on the ground and looked about for landmarks. He murmured. I think we must be about here. He placed his finger on one of the tracks. I think we should come to the picnic area in half an hour or so. But we'll have a problem climbing the mountain and still making it to the other campsite where the yoga is. That looks a good bit further than we've already walked today. He ate a bit of Easter egg, looking troubled. Oh. Ali looked a little panicked. I'm really sorry, I thought we only had to get to the mountain. Whilst this discussion was going on, quite some distance away, Helen was becoming increasingly frustrated with enforced rest. There was no phone reception at the camp, and she was sure her team would be lost by now, both in bushwalking geography and with business at work. This is not relaxing, she complained to one of the instructors. I'm very worried about my colleagues. Stay with the moment and focus on the breath, the instructor replied, in an annoying, soft, sleepy voice. Helen made a gag face at her, retreating back. She hoped the team would get here before the next session of yoga. It was the kind of thing that might be tolerable if she had someone to share humorous glances with. But the other people on the course were all very serious about it. They'd even been serious during that abominable panpipe session. It was so windy here on the top of Sugarloaf Mountain that no one had been able to get anything but weird up-the-octave squeaks out of any of the allegedly soothing woodwind instruments. Even a seasoned flute player had failed to play them a tune that didn't turn into piercing shrieks, interspersed with silent bits where there weren't supposed to be silent bits. The wind carried everything away here, including people's voices most of the time, she reflected, pleased that she could no longer hear the instructor telling them when to breathe. In the rare moments, usually in the early hours, when the wind stopped, it could be perfectly still. To her surprise, Helen found that she didn't mind these moments all that much. Meanwhile, Matt, Anya, Ali and Owen finally sat at their picnic tables, their map laid out before them. I don't understand, said Ali. I thought the yoga was happening on top of the mountain. That's what I thought too, but when I looked it up, it turned out to be a little club that's just happening in one of the National Park campsites this month. They move around, Owen explained. I thought you'd seen. Matt ran his fingers through his fringe, looking worried. Okay, well, we cannot walk to that other campsite today, so we could climb this mountain just to say we did it, then go back to that homestead place we passed and try to get a connection and call someone to pick us up. They could drive us to the last bit. Suki's expecting to collect us from the last campsite anyway. Anya nodded. Or we could book in at the homestead and join Helen a day later if we're able to let her know. Ali gave Anya a surprised glance. I thought you just wanted to get out of here. Anya shrugged. It hasn't been so bad so far. No one has dropped me yet. Matt and Owen exchanged a glass. What? Asked Anya. What? She found out about 10 minutes later when Owen went off for a small explore and returned with a guy who had a high volume of ropes and some harnesses. Are you about to tell me something I don't know about this hike, Owen? She asked, folding her arms. It's only a tiny climb, said Owen. I just thought, extra team building for those up for it. True to Anya's fears, however, just before the summit they reached an odd little cave with a gap at the back in the top. The best view will be by climbing up through there, Joe the harness guy announced. Anya shook her head. No. I am not climbing up the wall of a cave. I do not care how many ropes you attach to me. Okay, Owen told her. We'll come down as soon as we've seen the view. You can go round to the other lookout if you want. Anya folded her arms. I'm not going on any lookouts or viewing platforms by myself. I'll stay here. While Matt and Owen helped the climbing expert attach various ropes, Ali and Anya stood together quite a distance away. Even just looking back down the mountain they'd climbed made Anya feel like the ground was shifting under her feet, trying to tip her down into the valley. She looked at Ali. Are you going to climb? Ali looked a bit nervous, but said, I feel like I ought to see the proper summit, even if it's a bit scary. And it's a good trust exercise, belaying for each other. You'd drop me, said Anya. Ali snorted and moved away from her. 15 more minutes, and the others had all disappeared up through the opening at the back of the cave. Presently, Owen's head appeared in the gap. Anya? Turns out Ali doesn't like it up here very much. We can't get her to move. Can you just come, up to the opening and talk to her? Seriously? Anya spat. You think I am the solution to helping Ali when she's being scared of a high place? Have you noticed where I am? Climbing guy Joe came over. No need to worry, he announced. You don't need to go right up there, and I'll have you secure the whole time. Anya certainly didn't feel secure peering out at the gap at the small expanse of cliff top and enormous valley below. There was a barrier, but she kept imagining that the space under the railing was sucking at her. Ali had lain down, and it was only with Anya holding one hand and Matt pushing her on the knees that they got her to wiggle back nearer to the opening back into the cave. Thus, Anya let go of the edge with one hand and began to swing around somewhat. Don't worry, Joe said. I'll bring you down slowly and then we'll get Ali. Just let go and keep your feet on the wall. You want me to take both my hands off the solid surface? Anya supposed there wasn't a lot of alternative. "Ah!" she went as she swung away from the rock. Keeping one's feet on the wall didn't seem very possible at all. In the few meters down, she bumped every possible part of herself against the stone except her feet. If you don't come down now, I'm going to be extremely cross, she called up to Ali, when her feet finally met solid ground again. Joe seemed to think, for some strange reason, that the group must be tired, and guided them on a shortcut back. They shuffled up to the homestead they'd passed earlier, as it was becoming dark again. A friendly, muscular woman with a Jack Russell in her arms welcomed them inside, loaned them the landline phone, and let them on the Wi-Fi while they waited for her to arrange some light food, and for Suki to come with the van. The moment they all entered the Wi-Fi code, there was a tidal wave of buzzes and pings and other irritating electronic noises. "Oh shit," said Ali, who was sitting companionably next to Anya with a cup of tea. "You know that company Inky, with the new clothing line?" "I just saw," said Owen. "How could this have happened? We've been doing their website and ads for ages now." Matt put his head in his hands. "Their website is coming up as a custom garden gnome shop? What did we do on Tuesday morning?" "I think it might be what we didn't do," Anya said. "The domain renewal must have come up, and we didn't pay, so it's been sold to the gnomes." "Oh, of course," Matt sighed. "Helen won't let anyone else do payments." He looked around. "We need to go back to the office and fix this." "But how?" wailed Anya. "We can't get their website back." She looked at Matt and froze for a moment. "Unless..." "We framed this as a good opportunity to rebrand. Yes, so new domain, new slogan, lovely new website, new media, probably all for free to make up for our messing up. And we undertake to do this in the next 2 days," Owen added. "They need a website." When Suki arrived, the four of them piled into the van without stopping their discussion. "Inky is sleek. Good hashtag, also good domain name," Ali was saying. "Well, they do have a lot of products that we can put with that message for sure," Matt added. "Anya, can you do a new logo?" Anya didn't answer, busy sketching ideas in a notepad, but reached out and fist bumped him with her free hand. 1 week later, the mountain of emails and messages from Inky was finally shifted, and Matt had sold the rebranding so well that at least one member of Inky's governing council had told Ali on the phone that it might all be for the best. They were arranging local billboards when the office door opened, and in came Helen. "Where were you?" she demanded. "I had to sit through no less than 30 yoga meditation exercises all by myself. I feel completely let down." The team glanced at one another. "Oh my God," said Anya. "We forgot to explain." Matt stood up. "Ellen, we did go. We've been all the way there and up the mountain and back again. But you were out of range and the Inky website broke and we had to come back and do something." Helen stared. What happened? Do I need to speak to them?" Matt grinned. "No, we fixed it. We did the best rebrand. They actually like it better. Oh, and I think you were right. The mountain hike was good team building. Anya and Ali even sometimes get on now." Helen seemed to be at a loss. "So, you were okay?" Anya came over. "Yeah, we still missed you, of course, but we did it. So, can we all work together on more stuff?" She paused, looking at Helen's handbag. "Oh my God, my Tupperware!" Helen looked apologetic and pulled it out. "I just took it for a proper wash, but then, well, you know what happened." She handed it over, then looked puzzled. "Wait a minute. I was on the mountain doing yoga meditation for 4 days. You can't have climbed that mountain. I would have seen you at the summit." Everyone looked puzzled. "Yeah, but the thing is, when I looked for yoga there, it turned out to not be at the actual summit," explained Owen. We didn't make it to the yoga site. I have to say, the hike was a lot further than we thought. He pulled out the map from his desk and traced the track with his pen. Ellen sat on the desk and peered closely at the map. Then she began to laugh. What? Owen looked a bit hurt. Folks, you will never guess, but there are 2 Sugarloaf Mountains in our state. I was in a different national park to you all along. You never could have found me anyway. She pointed out a different splotch of green. Uh-oh, said Anya. If we were in the wrong park, then those weren't our Easter eggs. She looked guiltily at the wrappers in the bin. Ali laughed uproariously. Matt, she stage whispered, not trying to be quiet at all. Ellen moved the mountain. Ellen gave them the look, but though she returned quickly to supervising them all, from that time on, she rarely tried to move mountains by herself.
Beautiful. Oh, that was lovely. Are there in fact 2 Sugarloaf Mountains?
There are. So this story ended up taking a long time to write because there was quite a lot of research to do. And in the end I didn't use all of it because, as Lloyd pointed out, if I make it too specific, then the details, if I get anything a bit wrong, because I haven't personally been there down the track, if it's in written form or whatever, you get people who've actually been on the hike in question saying, oh no, it's not like that and that's impossible. But yes, there are 2 mountains in Victoria called Sugarloaf, and they're in 2 national parks. One's called King Lake National Park, and that's the one that they are walking in, which is very, very big. And the mountain's kind of off to the side, and then there are various campsites some distance to the other side of the park. They would be about 10 hours away. So, wow. But on foot. So, they'd have to have got a car to go there. But yeah, so I did a lot of research about what campgrounds are there, what break spots, what sort of lookouts and things, so that I could try and work out where they are actually going. Originally that I was going to have them work out that they were in the wrong place and try and go to the other mountain, but it kind of didn't work as an ending, because that in that situation there wouldn't be anything for them to solve to prove that they can actually do things without Helen. So
yeah, that was nice too, the mountain of emails as well.
Yeah.
That they shifted, that was good, that was nice. But yeah, and I loved the yoga and meditation references.
Yeah.
The kind of high-powered executive type that thinks that'll be good for it, but it's just really hard.
Yeah.
To turn off and do the thing that you're meant to be doing. And other people are irritatingly calm and so on.
Yeah.
And then the guided meditation, you sort of need the guidance, but you spend at least half the time thinking, now just shut up and
their voice is weird, or that's what happens to me. When I listen to the voices of the people who run meditations and yoga things and stuff, I get very distracted by what their voice is like, and if they use a certain phrase too repetitively, and things, and I'll just start to get very annoyed about that and not really focus on the thing at all. I'm much better off if I just do my own stretching. I wouldn't mind someone telling me how to do yoga positions and saying this is what you should be trying to do, sort of push your knees towards the ground and imagine that you're stretching up. Then I can do my own breathing. But when they do you must breathe in now and then hold, and they try and control the pace of your breathing by what for them is the right pace for the breathing. Not everyone's really the same in terms of what is like a good, nice, controlled breathing for them as well.
Then they tell you to, to breathe naturally.
Yeah, but you must breathe out for 8 counts, but do it naturally.
Yeah,
well, naturally, I don't breathe out for this long. It's very, very hard. I've got no air left.
That's right. There's, as I said to you, the chat with the gongs is the best.
Yeah, other sounds rather than someone saying, and inhale. I'd make that much better. Maybe not panpipes that are being buffeted by wind, though.
But all of those things, I mean, that's just very stereotyped. But the idea of them is that they're unfamiliar scales and stuff. So you just listen to the sound and follow the sound.
Yeah.
Without to predict or whatever. And that can be quite nice.
Well, panpipes are nice if you're actually able to play them properly, but in this particular situation, probably a gong would have been better. Or like a set of glasses that when the wind blows over, it would make one of those fantastic, eerie glass blowing sounds. So very briefly, any immediate requests for next time come to mind? If not, just comment them later, but and for anyone watching, you can leave comments, but if you have any, I'd really like this. Okay, make some notes.
Right, well, let's do that. We'll think about it.
Have a think.
Yeah, nothing occurs at the moment because that sometimes happens.
Yeah.
Depends if something leaks out of the story and takes you on another path.
Yeah. Alright, well, we'll save requests for comments later on the video, or through Patreon if you like, and I'll set us a free chat, more relaxed call up. Okay. So we're back shortly.